Hey there, everybody. Editor-in-Chief Gabby here. Thank you for listening to the show. This here is going to be our call-in episode, part one. Part one of our call-in episode because it went rather long. It was a rousing success. We had a lot of fun doing it. We were just trying to, just a little something different using Google Voice, answering on the internet. We did find we needed like a queue, some sort of call queue. That way people could call. It was literally just like a regular phone line, but on the internet. And so when somebody would call in, it would beep. So that would let us know that somebody's calling, which is good. But then we didn't have any way to queue people up. So I'm trying to figure that out, perhaps. Some sort of software or something that might be able to accomplish that. Anyway, it was fun. We had fun. Those that called in had fun, I hope. And enjoy the show.
You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast, a ridiculous podcast with ridiculous hosts that discuss ridiculous things. And any mention of board games is purely coincidental. And so, without further ado, and with a heavy dollop of shame and embarrassment on my part, I give you the Board Game Snobs.
And welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Who are we speaking with today?
Jared Rutledge.
Jerry Rutledge. Jerry the Jared Rutledge. It's good to hear from you, sir. We just got through recording a Klaus Tuber RIP in honor of episode, and now we're doing our call-in episode, and you're our first caller. Go ahead. We're listening.
You won.
I won. Okay, so here's the thing. I want you to pick your favorite mechanism and pair it with your least favorite theme. Do you still enjoy the game?
Ooh. Okay, Ricky, what's your least favorite mechanism? Your favorite mechanism?
Yeah, like, give me a moment. Crap.
Okay, crap is not a mechanism.
I know it's not. Just give me a moment.
All right, Ricky, Gabi?
My favorite mechanisms is probably Rondell or...
With your least favorite theme.
I enjoy bidding as well.
No, Rondell's your favorite.
Okay, Rondell is a mechanism.
You what your favorite is.
How dare you?
Rondell. And
my least favorite theme is fantasy. I hate fantasy stuff, but not Fantasy Island because that was wonderful.
It's fantasy.
I don't like he said theme, right?
Like
he doesn't like wizards. He likes space wizards.
I like space. Give me the Jedi.
That was throwing me off.
I don't want Gandalf. I want Obi-Wan. But yes, I can incorporate. Here's my thing. I am a mechanisms over theme person. So theme doesn't. It's nice if it's there, but I don't have to have it.
So even if it was like Lord of the Rings meets Harry Potter type thing, so super dragony, whatever, all the craziness, but it was still just Rondell. You think you'd like it?
Yes. If it's good mechanically.
I think he's saying that right now. You would see that on a shelf and you would cringe.
I think you'd cringe.
No. You didn't ask if I would purchase it or
no. Would you enjoy it?
Would I enjoy it?
And thus, by definition, you would purchase it.
No, not necessarily. There's games I enjoy that I don't go out and buy.
Boy, you're really hedging. You can't give a straight answer. You're a politician.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I did not.
So I would say
I did not have Rondells with this game.
I did not cast spells.
I do not know that wizard.
I do not know.
I merely grabbed the gun out of his hand with my mind powers and not telekinesis.
What is. So I like negotiation.
Like negotiation.
I love negotiation and bidding. And so my least favorite theme, like I can get over, like even though we don't have any fantasy type stuff here, I'm like I could probably stomach something of that nature. But I'm thinking like in terms of actual themes, it just really puts me off. I'm trying to think of something what's the last game that had a theme that I just cringed at? I'm trying to think. Really, I don't do cutesy stuff. Remember Flamecraft last year was like a huge thing with the dragons. I didn't get to play that, but just looking at it kind of made me go, oh, I didn't like that.
You didn't like Flamecraft, the theme.
Yeah, I don't like the theme of that. It's kind of like
childish type.
I don't know, but that's kind of that's more of an artwork than it is an actual theme. Because like fantasy is more of a setting than a theme.
All right, well, let me ask Jared, since he presented the question. I'm sure he has an example in mind.
Enrique's thinking deeply.
So Rococo is kind of this very strange Euro game where you're making fancy dresses for men and women in kind of a medieval type setting. The box art, in my opinion, is atrocious and off-putting. And somebody could never sell me on the idea of playing a board game where you're making dresses. But the resource management and everything is so clean. It is such a fun game. But from outward glance, I think it's hideous. I don't find it appealing. And it doesn't usually scratch that itch for a board game that I would normally play.
Now, I've not got to play Rococo. I would definitely play that. I've heard such great things about it. There was supposed to be a re-implementation of that where you were making computers or something. I don't know if it ever come out.
Oh my God.
There was supposed to be
that would be amazing.
Because I remember a few years back they were talking about the theme of it. Now, in terms of making dresses and fashion, have you played Pret-a-Porter?
No.
Highly underrated game. I think it's Ignacy Chevicek.
Yeah,
a Portal game. It's been like 3rd or 4th edition. It is really good.
Really good. That's a good point. Like the fashion. Like look at me. I'm not into fashion.
You are into fashion.
I mean,
that you have a fashion.
I'm classic though. T-shirt, T-shirt, and cargo shorts.
He does derelict.
Very nice.
See?
And on that note, I think we need to be done with Jared.
You got a drop button. Thanks for calling. But themes. So
Jared called right at 6:00. Just saying.
I know that's punctual. We like that. I would say that I'm giving Enrique as much time until he gets his answer.
He's 6 minutes in. We can't let one listener. If you want to call back, you're allowed.
Do we have another caller?
I don't know. I don't know that we have 3-way on here. I don't know. We don't have call waiting.
I know.
It's going to be that kind of party.
Man, you're just hanging up on him. You're just hanging up on the guy.
I didn't say today's co-host is Jared Rutledge.
You may have to hang up on him and then answer the question like they normally do on. This is like radio. Yeah. We're getting into radio.
There you go.
Anthony and Openy coming back. God, I hate those. Go ahead, Enrique. Answer the question.
I'm not sure if this would be considered a mechanic. But card drafting, any type of card drafting.
Yes, you do. Yes.
I always love it because it has enough randomness and strategy to it of where you can just have fun with it, but also be very serious about it.
Okay, so they're your least favorite theme, a card drafting game with your least favorite theme.
Anything cartoony and just bright.
So color. Fortnite, the game with card drafting. Would you enjoy it? No,
it's just it'd be too bright, too cartoony.
So Enrique's just leaning towards theme. Gabi's leaning towards mechanism. I'm going to have to say I lean towards theme as well. I do enjoy the mechanism, but if the theme is something that's pulling me out, it's going to be really hard for me to overcome it. And I can get into a lot of themes. I could make some dresses, but I just don't think I could.
That's what I'm saying. I have yet to play a theme that if the game is good, it's good. That's my point.
Well, I think
Crescent City Cargo. You're literally just hauling stuff back and forth. But it's a rondelle and it's amazing.
But do you hate that theme?
You don't hate the theme.
Like,
no, that's true. I don't hate it.
Viscerally, are repulsed by.
Oh, I mean, I don't know what that would be. Harvesting dead animals for.
Hang on a second.
No. We're basically saying let's say that there's a game mechanic you really like, but the theme is just off-putting, basically. It just doesn't fit the mechanics of the game.
Or not necessarily fit, but just the theme itself. There was one I saw here just the other day. The theme made me just Go keep talking, because this just nearly killed me when I saw it. I'm looking it up.
I did see a post to I don't know if it was Instagram or what, but apparently they're making well, never mind. I'm not even going to say. That's how off-putting the theme was.
Wow.
I don't know. I can't think of a theme that just are you talking about like repulsed by, disgusted by?
Like
No,
just awful. You hate
just
it.
You just a bad taste in your mouth. It's bitter upon sight of seeing it. Like, why would I be interested in doing that?
There's tons of them. You're just not thinking. I'm looking through.
Changing diapers.
No, that's not what.
That's a
would
time management game.
Running an animal shelter where you have to put down animals.
That's actually a game.
Really?
Yes.
See, okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be interested in that.
You're not going to be putting down animals.
Oh. Like with
Well,
insults?
the John Wick easy answer.
Yeah.
Nobody kills the dog.
That's right.
Yeah, that's not.
Okay, well, that's it.
Pretty much any type of theme coming off of like these Walmart games, like when they do like the Office type theme, anything like that, or the Squid Game theme, stuff like anything.
But the Office designed by Reiner Knizia. Let's go.
But is he a good designer, really?
I answered that already. I answered that, and more importantly, I answered that lifelong question that our fans don't pay attention, because everybody was coming at me, and I was like, "You're thinking that's what Gabi said." Enrique said I was the one that said this. Nobody paid attention to me. Oh man,
I pay attention to everyone.
You're gonna have to. All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. We're coming up on 10 minutes,
all right,
Jared.
all right.
We love you. Thank you. But I do want to give. I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's anybody. There may be you may be the only one. We'll call you back.
Then we're gonna ghost him. We're like, we'll call you back now.
All right, but we're gonna allow opportunity for someone else to call in. Thank you, Jared.
For sure. Have a great day, guys.
Have a good day.
Jared's the chief epidemiologist or something of like.
There we
somebody
go.
else calling in?
Well, it's going to be Jared.
No, that's going to be it. Damn, that was our callers for the day.
It's like the one guy you got watching you on Twitch. People.
Well, I mean, I don't expect a whole lot of phone calls.
What are you talking about? People were all like fired up. We need to start doing this more often, where people just call in. I think we could probably do it better on what you call it,
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah, but I don't. Yes.
Yeah,
but Discord. Yeah, I guess so. You got to have your computer sound on.
All right. So I asked that we were going to be recording. Are there any topics that you would like discussed, specifically to be answered by Enrique? So get ready. What grinds your gears or makes you angry? This is by Micah Gregoriadis. Gregoriadis. Gregorade. Boy, I don't know how to say that name. Go ahead.
What grinds my gears?
What makes you angry? I have literally never seen you angry.
Basically anything that I know that I can do, but just can't do it.
No, I literally have never seen you angry.
Yeah, like you've never seen me just like...
That's because he's not passionate about anything.
He is too.
What are you passionate about?
Grilled cheese. Bowling.
Video
grilled cheese.
games.
Video games.
Oh, Enrique did finally defeat the Fallen Order guy for me, which I could not get past that guy. Enrique came in here, tried... 3 times?
I basically did the first try as a trial run to see like if I could use anything against him. The second one was just like me playing around with him, just kind of learning his speeds, moveset. And then the third one was the actual like me fighting him.
Okay. Who would win in a fight? A giant Jerry or 1,000 mini gobbies? When he says mini, like mini me, like Troy Werner.
I would say 1,000 goblins.
Well, how? You know my pugilistic skills.
Yeah, but like...
He has none.
Yeah, but like, are we saying that Gabi doesn't lose any of his, like... He doesn't lose... Because he's like, what? Like 100 pounds more heavier than you?
But a giant Jerry.
At least.
Yeah. A giant Jerry of like, do you just like increase in weight? Or are you still just the same weight, but just in bigger
size? Yes. Do you not understand this?
Like I'm saying.
Yes.
Like there's so many variables.
All right. So I'll just sit. Okay. Me, if I was 3 times the size I am now, not weight, but just in, and like, Gabi, if he was dwarfed
Yeah, like I'm saying,
Thousands of them.
Yeah, thousands of them.
1,000.
Now, if it's
1,000.
but if it's just size, like your weight doesn't increase, your strength doesn't increase.
Yes, just yes.
Gabi would win immensely. 1,000 of it. Have you seen this man throw a 14-pound ball across the lane like nothing?
But that doesn't compute though to street fighting. You know, I come from the streets.
I'm just saying.
All right. You're wrong there. Oh, all right. Who would win in a fight, Superman or Jesus?
Jesus.
Maybe Superman is Jesus. That might be a thought that you need to consider as well. You didn't think of that, Mr. David Allen. Oh, that last one was from Sam Rouleau. Brandan Haines, what's the best fast food combo?
You're asking the wrong person.
But you eat, what's the best? Okay.
Yeah, but
you just eat chicken.
Yeah, like that's why it's.
So what's the best fast food chicken? Strips or nuggets?
It just like
fast food place with chicken strips that you eat.
I would probably say, well, I guess the pit stop wouldn't be considered.
That's not fast food.
Yeah, it's not fast food.
Chain food.
Then it would be probably Popeyes, right? Maybe
Louisiana fat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite salad dressing? He doesn't know that you don't eat salad dressing.
Yeah, I don't eat salad dressing.
Brandan, you need to understand. Enrique eats his chicken strips dry. He doesn't do sauce. Occasionally gravy, right? Occasionally.
It's like rare.
He very rarely. I mean, he doesn't do any condiments hardly.
Yeah, like
I don't think you do ketchup even.
Yeah, like there's very few times where I even use ketchup.
Okay. David Allen asks, My Little Pony or Strawberry Shortcake? You probably don't know Strawberry Shortcake.
I do. I remember back in the day. Probably Strawberry Shortcake.
I would go Strawberry Shortcake. My kids watched that back in the day.
I enjoy Strawberry Shortcake.
Oh, the
dessert.
There was another one that came out that was like computer animated. That was strawberry something. It was something.
Yeah, I remember.
My sister watched it. Can't remember it.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I know what you're talking about.
David Allen also asks, "What if a spider got bitten by a radioactive man, like a spider?
The man spider?
Yeah, like a spider's radioactive. It bites you, you become Spider-Man. But if you're a radioactive man, like if you're Oppenheimer, and you accidentally in your sleep, like you bite a spider, what would happen to said spider?
The man becomes wrecked with guilt.
No." Guilt man
has to like take up a full-time job.
George Costanza.
Yeah, has to pack his lunch every day.
I would assume the spider would just somehow formulate a human body and just have the ability.
It'd go
with
back.
A spider head.
It would stop weaving webs. And it would just start.
Of deception.
Yeah, and all the other spiders would be like,
oh, what webs we weave.
What's wrong with Charlotte?
When at first we practiced to deceive.
What's wrong with Charlotte? Why doesn't she do a web anymore? And then she's
depressed.
She's depressed. His anxiety.
She got bit by a woman.
Wow, yeah,
she's now depressed.
Wow, that's sexist, guys.
Her name is Charlotte.
But the spider Charlotte.
Spider.
But you didn't have to mean that she's bit by a woman. And
she's a female.
First off, Klaus Tuber, the previous one, and now you are just
mean that.
Wow.
Women can be depressed.
Call in to
we're going to get canceled so quick. If you
Gabi's getting canceled. Get ready. This is about to be us. The Klaus Tuber family sent us a cease and desist order by their attorney, General Rule of Law. Get it?
House rule. That was it.
Oh.
You got it wrong.
Oh,
H-A-U-S.
I'm sorry, I missed your joke.
So the calls are
pouring in.
The calls are pouring in.
Thank God we hung up on Jared.
It's a good thing we did.
Boy.
All right. So we did have several discussions in Discord that not discussions. I said, what do you want us to talk about? Anything, topics or questions? Michael Vanoy said, did you survive the tornado? Obviously. Still enjoying Picard the Mandalorian? Yes, and kind of. We were discussing The Mandalorian today. We feel it's kind of losing its way. It is not on the way, according to us. We feel like they had plans for it, but Grogu became such a thing, it became difficult for them to not have Grogu. Like, he went to Luke. He should have been trained by Luke. That should have been the end of Grogu. I love Grogu. Don't get me wrong. He's absolutely adorable. But like this season with Bo-Katan and Grogu's kind of in it, but not really. It's like, I don't know. It's very like all over the place to us. Sinan90 says, how often should the better player win in a game?
So, like, basically, you're saying how much does chance come into?
That's what I'm gathering.
Well, ideally, in a perfect strategy-based game, it'd be always. But the reason you don't always want that is because you're going to play some entry-level games, and you want new players to be able to win. Just sometimes just by happenstance. Like it should greatly reduce it. It's like they're having fun too, and they have the opportunity. Kind of like Seven Wonders. Like I've often gone on about how I'm horrible at Seven Wonders and how it used to frustrate me, and I would teach people how to play Seven Wonders, and then I would never win. But people who had never played the game, while I'm teaching them the game, would beat me. And so it was because the game just lent itself to this strategy, as sometimes you just don't know what you're doing, or sometimes it just works out that way. And so, I mean, yeah. So if it's a deep strategy game, the answer to that is always. And we're getting a call.
All right.
I wonder who this might be.
And welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Who are we speaking with today?
This is your favorite boy, Ryan Maxwell. What's up?
Ryan, the Cavs.
The
The Cavs.
Ryan, welcome to
How
the
are you?
show. We're doing quite well. We just spoke with Mr. Jared Rutledge, and we made him hang up 10 minutes in, and then we didn't receive a phone call for several minutes and wondered if we made a huge mistake.
I knew someone would clutch it for us.
I knew Ryan would call in, though. He said he would. He left a message for us as well.
Ryan's our resident bowler from the Texas area. And we just put on our Facebook page that we are going to be going, me and Enrique are going to be at BGG Spring. We're probably going to go up Thursday. So Thursday evening, we might go bowling or do something. We got to get together somewhere Thursday.
Yeah,
it's Friday, Saturday, and
do
Sunday.
it.
Yes. So that's the one, the BGG Springs is going to be at the airport this year again, I believe. Isn't it? I think it is the airport.
I believe so.
Spring's always at the airport.
I didn't check it. I just made the reservations. And I'm sad that Gobby's not going, but that's okay.
That's the way it is.
You got some great Cavs too. Ryan, what's been going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just been traveling a lot for work lately. I've been in New York 3 times in the last 3 months. So that was some exciting stuff. I tried to get people from work trips to play board games and had success in getting a couple of games of Camel Up, and that was about it. So there wasn't much of a board game crew. It was more of a drinking at the bar and drinking more at the bar type of crew. So
That's the city of New York, right?
yeah, well, yes. So I was actually, our corporate headquarters is in Connecticut. So I spent the days in Connecticut and many of the nights in New York City.
Ah, I miss going
Getting
to.
cultured.
I do like some of the culture in New York. I miss going to the Guggenheim. That was one I was going to. And the what was the other one?
The Met?
The Met. I'm sorry, that's the Met. And I always went to Broadway when I was there. I haven't been to Broadway in a long time.
Yep, we did that. So we saw a Broadway show one night. We went to the Museum of Natural History, which was the best museum I've ever been to. That was amazing.
That is a nice one.
And then saw some movies and things like that. So it was a pretty good few trips out there.
What Broadway show did you see?
We saw Some Like It Hot.
Some Like It Hot.
Yes.
That
You may
sounds
remember
familiar.
the 1959 Marilyn Monroe movie as
Oh,
the original version.
the 7-year itch.
They have no.
type thing?
It was
No,
called Some Like It Hot.
Some Like It Hot.
Yeah, this is the one about the jazz musicians that unintentionally witnessed a murder and escaped by pretending to be women in an all-women band. Sort of realized that was where the inspiration for Sister Act came from, I think.
Jack Lemmon's in Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
That's it.
So the Broadway play is a little more 21st century, even though it all takes place in 1933. There are some more popular socio-political themes in the musical than were in the original movie, as you might imagine, 60 years later. But it was pretty funny. It was really good, actually. And the final scene, which I won't spoil, was one of the most incredible scenes I've seen in a Broadway or off-Broadway musical. It was phenomenal.
Nice.
Very cool. Very
Okay.
well done.
You got to go to Broadway with us one of these days.
I'll be interested.
We'll get you some culture.
I'm slightly
Or
cultured.
you guys could just come down to Dallas for the Dallas Summer Musicals at the Performing Arts Center or the stuff they do at Bass Hall, and then you wouldn't have to travel all the way to New York City. You could just, makes
You
a little
wanna take
2-hour
me,
drive.
Oh, we'll go down there. You get some culture. We'll find you
Yeah.
something that you might get into musicals. You like musicals, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit.
You sing.
I prefer musicals on Broadway, in real life, in plays, in person, as opposed to TV shows.
I can agree with that.
For sure. What's your favorite musical, Enrique?
I guess I don't have one. I haven't been to very many. Well, actually, no. Let me rephrase that. I have been to. Well, I guess Opera wouldn't be considered a musical.
You're thinking of Oprah Winfrey.
I took you one time to the orchestra where they played the live Star Wars music while we watched Empire Strike Back. That's not a musical.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a musical.
Mary Poppins. You watch Mary Poppins?
No.
He doesn't watch. He didn't watch anything classic.
Yeah, like I as a kid, I hated musicals. Now
Do your parents like musicals? Probably not. Then
my mother, I believe my mother does. Yes.
what is her favorite musical? Do you know? Do you know anything about your mother?
Not through just culture stuff. No.
If I were a rich man.
One of my wife's favorite movies is the. Oh my god! It just went off the top of my. Is there a Music Man? The Music Man.
Yeah, that's my favorite music of all time. And in fact, my son's high school theater troupe did that as their fall musical, and it was incredible.
Very nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes
so
that.
we're becoming very cultured through my son and his musical efforts. They did SpongeBob last year, which was amazing. The kid that played SpongeBob made it all the way to the final 8 in this national musical competition for high schoolers, and got to perform on Broadway one of the main songs from the musical. So they've got a pretty awesome theater program here at Keller Central High School.
Wow.
Wow.
Very nice. That's killer.
See, if only you went to somewhere, if only you had stayed in school, Enrique.
Why are you just directing this?
Hugo
all
doesn't
toward
even have
me?
a pound for you to drop off your adorable little puppies that are lost.
Yeah, we had
Ryan,
to
you want some
drive
puppies?
your dogs a mile. Enrique, somebody dumped a bunch of puppies off on Enrique's doorstep, so he's been nursing, well, not physically, 4 puppies here for the past few days, and where he lives doesn't even have a pound, so we had to drive to Texas and then get Gobby's driver's license and act like he had been the one that found the dogs and tried to turn them in. But
they were closed today.
It's Good Friday. They're closed.
What kind of dogs were they? Let me know.
Haines 57s. They were mutts.
Yeah, like
adorable.
But they've spent like the last week with Enrique, so these dogs are messed up.
wow. Okay, whatever.
They're eating Cheetos and nuggets.
These dogs are messed up.
How dare you?
And playing Fallen Order.
Fortnite. All right.
Fortnite.
Ryan, do you have any questions
I
for
gotta
Enrique?
get started on that. Do I have any questions for Enrique? So not to dox him, but did you say you're from Hugo?
Yeah.
The Circus City.
So that's by Frogville, right?
It is indeed.
Indeed.
So I had a roommate from Frogville that told me all about all the time he spent in the great metropolis of Hugo growing up. That was if you live in Frogville, I guess Hugo is the party city to go to.
So
see, Frogville's it's just north of Paris, Texas.
Now, Frogville,
across the border.
for everybody to understand how small Frogville is, it is down this long road, and everybody in this community gives directions from the broken down ice. I think it was a milk truck. A milk truck broke down there sometime way back in the day. It was abandoned on the side of the road. And so everybody, when you try to get directions to their home, they say, well, you know where the milk truck's at? Well, I'm south of the milk truck, or I'm north of the milk truck. And very famously, a few years back, somebody who owned that property decided to remove the truck, have it hauled off, and the community petitioned to leave it there successfully. So the milk truck still stays in the great town of Frogville. So yeah, it's
amazing.
It's a thing. You have to know where the milk trucks is.
Was it founded by frogs, or was his last name Frog?
I don't know. There's a lot of Villes. There's a lot of names, something Ville. I don't know. Frogville. It may have just been where people gigged a lot. They gig for frogs.
Frog gigging.
Have you ever done that?
Or lots of frogs had gigs.
They do frog legs. Have you ever had frog legs?
I have.
At
first I thought they were chicken. And then when I discovered their frog legs, it altered my taste.
Speaking of frogs, Enrique may have seen this, but I collect weird pieces of just I'll say art, but I'm doing quotes. Mm-hmm. I found a patient gave me it's two frogs. They are one's at behind the bar, and he's serving another frog, and the other frog. They're both standing on their hind legs, and one is drinking.
Oh, I bet he's drinking something with a lot of hops.
Correct. And so I thought that this was like plastic. They are not.
I bet he was like, I told you not to drink so much.
It is actually taxidermied bullfrogs.
No way.
They are real, and it is a thing.
They are real, and they are
and
fabulous.
They are actually incredibly collectible. And they're really... People would find bullfrogs. I'm just showing Gobby a picture of them. Taxidermy
we're
them.
getting another phone call.
All right, Ryan, we're going to have to drop you.
All right, well, I'm going to say goodbye with a pun.
Okay.
What do they call quiet laughing in Hawaii?
Waihihi.
Oh.
Aloha.
Aloha. That's a good one.
Just hang up on
he did hang up. We've received 2 phone calls during the course of that one.
We got to get back with Ryan.
We need to learn how to I need to figure out like a
patch them in.
A 3 right. Hold on.
This is the new way. Aren't we the first?
I'm really enjoying this.
Are we the first board game podcast to do this?
The Eric Summer.
We are the first board game podcast to do this.
That's correct.
We claim this.
Who's Eric Summer?
Not Eric Summer. The actor dude. His also Summer. Rich Summer.
We don't know
He used
that
to
guy.
take phone calls.
Oh, man.
But he did it like back in the day when it was apparently like super difficult.
I played cards with him at BGG.
You did. We played poker with him.
I played poker. I beat him.
Where is my dialer now? Oh, my goodness.
You're losing the phone
I
call.
want to try this. Nope. That is
Just
the
call
wrong.
him back. Call back random numbers. Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is better than radio. We should do this we should figure out a way to do this live. That'd be radio,
Well,
basically.
we got a message, but I can't.
I'll be better at live.
Call him.
Why is it coming through on here? Okay, hold on. It's Jabs. Let me message you. I want to say call right now.
Who's Jabs?
That is Brandan Haines.
Oh, yeah. Brandan. Brain. It's not
Brain?
It's not Brendan. It's Brandon. Brandan.
I told him
Brandan.
to call right now.
Call now. What's the last movie you watched?
Last movie?
Yeah.
There he is.
What?
64.
And
65.
welcome to the Board Game
4.
Snobs
No,
podcast.
65. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Who are we speaking with today?
It's Jabs, guys. Hello.
Hey,
It's
Brandan.
Brandan, man.
Brandan,
Hey guys,
man.
how are ya?
We're
Doing
surviving.
good.
We're doing quite well.
Surviving.
Well, Jerry is,
What?
anyways.
Hey, Enrique. This is the first time I've actually talked to you. How are ya?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing A-okay. I'm doing A-okay.
Excellent.
What in the world prompted you guys to do this?
Well, I think like Gabi wanted to do something, and then Jerry's like he reinforced it, and then I somehow got dragged along with it.
I love our listeners. What can I say? I want to hear you.
I've been listening to a lot of shows on YouTube that were like old radio shows, and I absolutely love that format where people are just talking and then random people just call in, the listeners, and throw something out there.
Like, I really wish like a rando person would call in that doesn't have any idea who we are or what they're calling.
I wish
into.
it was a radio. Yes, like this radio show. And what got me is people would call in with real problems and pour them out to these people, and they just start getting advice. And that's what I liked. And then Gabi says, "Hey, I think we can set this up to where we can just have people call in." I'm like, "Do it. We need to do this."
So the number I gave, it's a Google Voice number, so it's just an internet thing. And apparently,
I was wondering.
It's fairly easy to. I've had it before because with other jobs and stuff, I've like used. I don't want to give out my personal number sometimes.
You generally give out Enrique's.
Yeah.
Why is it always mine? Is that why I get random phone
Random
calls?
call. It's all right. I sign you up for stuff all the
I
time.
would randomly text Enrique and ask for chicken nugget. That's what I would do. I would be like, Enrique, what's the best chicken nugget? I wanted to, Jerry, I have a question for you.
All right.
'Cause I think you like bourbon, right?
I love bourbon.
You're a bourbon guy.
Yes.
What's your favorite bourbon?
Okay, so I'm gonna come out right now. Me and Gabi were just talking about this. So
No way, really?
yes, I mean literally like 5 minutes ago, and he was.
Are you being facetious? Because we're constantly talking about bourbon.
Yeah, because we get into fights about this. So Gabi, he ran over the county that Gabi lives in is dry. If you can imagine that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can't hardly get alcohol.
We're in the Bible Belt, where people like to proclaim they're uber righteous, even though drinking is allowed in the Bible. So I'm not quite sure where they get that from. And then, they're all royally alcoholics and hypocrites. But yet, let's have a dry county.
Please go hard, Gabi.
That's the way I feel.
So tell us how you really feel there. Just you tell we're passionate about this. Oh, I got. So Gabi buys his favorite, and so years back we started this thing where we were trying to find our favorite cheapest thing. So like gin, bourbon, whatever it is, like we're always trying to find our favorite / cheapest whatever. And Gabi's favorite bourbon that is dirt cheap, that's like this is as cheap as I can get and still be able to stomach, is Evan Williams Bottle and Bonded 100 Proof. And I think this stuff is categorically awful. But if you water it down and ice it the best that you can,
it's on ice, yes.
It goes all right.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Bottle and bond is a thing because that means the government has established it's not a high bar, but yet it's a bar of quality. Like you have to meet this bar of quality. And that's what this bottle and bond is. Evan Williams, the black bottles or the green bottles, they're bad. They're real, like classic rot gut. But the white bottle with bottle and bond, Evan Williams, it's cheap and it's bottle and bond. So therefore the government has said it has reached this level of quality. You're good.
It's decent. And so my favorite cheap bourbon that I have, and I've drank a lot of cheap bourbons, and I buy hands down. And I know you'd ask me what my favorite bourbon is, but I'm going to tell you what my favorite cheap one is.
I'm just looking for suggestions.
Okay. Well, the cheapest that I have found that I like, this is my house bourbon. I buy this stuff. I keep a handle of it on hand at all time. Is a whiskey called Lone Hand. It's a Tennessee sour mash bourbon.
Is it a bourbon?
It is a bourbon.
Or is it just a sour mash?
No, it is a bourbon. It is a bourbon.
Lone Hand.
Hand. And it is the straight across.
Much like Luke Skywalker, just lone hand.
It's like
just his left hand.
It's like $16 or $18 a fifth. It's cheap.
Or Aquaman, lone hand, Arthur Curry.
I don't know where you're going.
In the comic books.
Wait, yeah, I'm not. Wait, what?
Arthur Curry. He had one hand and a hook.
Nah.
He sure did. Oh, we're getting the calls are coming in. The calls are all coming in.
Gabi is panicking.
I got 4 more minutes.
He's got 4 more minutes. I got 4 minutes. But I now my favorite overall now whiskey is Teeling, Teeling. Teeling small batch whiskey or the now there is I used to drink one that I think is one of the and it started the armadillo thing, and they do have a bourbon, and I highly recommend.
There's an armadillo bourbon.
Yes,
there's a snobadillo bourbon.
Yes, there is, and they won't sponsor us. I've sent emails, but it is called 9 Banded. Like a 9-banded armadillo. They make a bourbon whiskey, but they make, and it's like $40-50 a bottle, I think. No, actually, no. They have a 90 proof that's like $35. It's a 9-banded wheated bourbon. It has the distinct taste of wheat, and I absolutely love that bourbon. It is very distinct. You'll never have anything else quite like it, but 9-banded wheated bourbon is really good. But they're
from Austin.
Yes, it is.
From Austin.
Yes, it is. 9-banded wheated cast strength bourbon, which is much more expensive. It's really good.
I recently had a Stranahan's. It's a single malt, It's got a blue label. Stranahan's has several different, varieties, but this one has a blue label. It is one of the best. It's almost too sweet, but it is an excellent. I'm not quite sure it's a bourbon. Maybe it's just a whiskey, but my goodness, it's my favorite.
And Enrique's not much of a drinker, right?
I'm not.
He likes warm Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, he's not. He's not.
Warm Dr.
He's not. He does.
That's like 80 proof.
He does drink.
Well, he's
warm
only got
Dr.
one
Pepper.
kidney.
He can't drink.
It'll be fine.
But yeah, that warm Dr. Pepper, it's disturbing.
You're making fun of Enrique? You got to be kidding me.
I'm not making fun of Enrique. I would never.
When am I not
Enrique.
being made fun of?
I did that
It's
just to
like
say,
a trademark
you got to be kidding
thing
me.
already.
You got to be kidding me.
Oh,
Let me make it for the third
he has
time.
a kitten.
Brandan, I still to this day I appreciate Brandan coming on the show when Jerry was once again not available.
I'm never available.
I would do it again.
I
would
appreciate
do it again.
that.
I had a good time.
And
I had a good time.
I may get.
You just talked to Charday about beer and bread, and recounted the story of you meeting your wife, and that was actually when me and you talked. We actually did that whole.
Okay, I was about to say. I'm sure I've told that before, but yes, I wooed her on skates.
I didn't hear that episode. I haven't listened to it. I don't listen to my own podcast. I need to listen to it.
I don't talk highly of you in that episode, so you might not want to listen.
I don't care. I know how you feel about me.
Highly,
Jerry? A lot of Jerry slander.
Yeah, I know how you feel about me deep down.
I apparently have 40 seconds left, so real quick, I just want to give a shout out to one of my favorite games that nobody plays, and it's Tyrants of the Underdark. That's all.
Well, that's one I want to play. Isn't that what's his face? The guy that we.
It is what's his face.
Lang.
It's a deck builder. It's not Aaron Lang.
Who is Terrence of the Underdark? That's so suspicious.
Not Terrence of the Underdark.
Terrence of the Underdark. Yeah, you know Terrence?
Like Terrence Newman?
Yeah.
Terrence Young?
Terrence.
My name's Terrence. Oh, we're getting another phone call. We're getting another phone call.
Oh my God.
Kilbrin.
10 seconds.
We love you, Brandan.
Peter Lee, Rodney Thompson, Andrew Veen. Highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite games ever. It's a.
You have 2 seconds. We got to go, Brandan. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Kilbrin, Irish whiskey.
Wait. We're on another phone call
Sherry
now.
Cast.
Thank you
Sherry
for
Cast.
Be quiet.
I'm
We're on the
sorry.
Board Game Snobs podcast. Welcome for calling. Good grief. Who are we speaking with today?
This is Chiasson.
Chiasson.
Voila, do declare.
Welcome, Chiasson.
We ain't seen you.
Are you a caller from Thibodeau, Louisiana now? What you doing down here now?
You have to do.
Lord.
I get that accent from an SNL skit called Main Justice. It's absolutely hilarious. It's like Hurricane Katrina. It's got a who played Ray?
Daisy Ridley.
No, Ray, not the piano Ray.
Oh, you're talking about the Jamie
Foxx. Jamie Foxx was a guest host on SNL.
You said Ray, and I gave you Star Wars. I'm sorry. Ray's like my favorite show, and who played Ray? I'm like, Daisy Ridley.
So it's called Main Justice because they talk about how they had to leave because of Katrina. So all these Louisianans go up to Maine, but they all talking like this here now, and they have a courtroom. And it's a courtroom, and they have this guy coming in. They're like, "What's all this here now about all this here?" And the guy's like, "What is going on?" It's absolutely fantastic.
Okay, well, there was a show, and you should have watched it back in the 90s called Due South. And it was a New York detective who was partnered up with a Canadian Mountie who had come down via their little loan thing to look for criminals that were crossing the border there. And that the whole show was based on this Canadian always being polite and nice and clean cut and not having a gun, which is not true because the Mounties will kill you. They have guns. And the New York cop being just real brutal and rude and everything. And that was the same kind of thing. But that wasn't a skit. That was a show, Due South. And it was really good.
Huh. Never heard of it.
They should make it again.
All right. Well, Chad, thank you for calling. Do you have a question or comment?
About to hang up on him.
I was wanting to know if you're playing a game right now, or are you just doing your podcast?
We had done a game, several games. We just did our Klaus Tuber memorial game of Star Trek Catan, because Enrique had never played Catan.
In true Snobs fashion, I'm a Star Trek guy, so we played Star Trek Catan.
Gabi got a Kickstarter called Starfighter Rapid Fire from Alley Cat Games, which we'll do a thing about it later. But spoiler, I really liked this game. It should not be as this much fun. It reminded me of the old what was the Starfighter game? What was the rolling dice?
It was another
end game. It's very popular.
Jeff game. Jeff Engelstein dice.
Oh yeah, dice.
That's what you were
Fighter. Die Fighter was the name of the expansion.
No, not
yes, it
Die
was.
Fighter.
The Die Fighter was a Die Fighter expansion. It was like a space game where you rolled dice and shot at each other. I think it was an Engelstein game. Engelstein.
Die Fighter. Is that like a play on words for Die Fighter?
Yes. It was. That was the expansion to it. And I remember this game was very popular back in 2015 when it came out.
I'm looking it up. I'll get to it.
And it was back when I was first.
Space Cadets.
The
dice game.
And they had Die Fighter.
Dice Duel.
They had Dice Duel. They had a Die Fighter expansion or something like that, didn't
But there was also a GMT game called Talon that me and Jerry played. It's like a much more
complicated,
strategic, complicated version of this game.
It's not in any way like this game at all, Chad. So please don't even.
I think it was.
No, there's no dice in Talon.
You have to turn. You have shields on all sides of the ship.
Never in my life. Anyways, so yeah, this Starfighter game, really good. And then we played
Gartenbau,
a gardening game that was by 25th Century Games, where you garden, and it's kind of like it gave me a very Uwe Rosenberg type thing, where you're getting these little tiles and building your own little garden, seedlings, and planting flowers, and then it was interesting.
By David Abelson and Alex Johns.
Yeah, so that was interesting. A weird theme because we're not into gardening. Are you into gardening? You seem like you're a gardener.
I used to be. We had a garden in the back. One year we had like 100 tomato plants, and we canned tomatoes for like a year. We had tomatoes that we could eat, but I am just too busy.
Do you gator? Do you gator hunt over there in Louisiana?
No, I do not gator hunt. I don't live that close to
Have you had any encounters with a gator?
Yes. I mean, I've seen them on the side of the road or in the water.
What's the most cliche, stereotypical thing you do as a Louisianian?
I boil crawfish. I'm getting ready to do that this weekend. So we get some people together. We get a couple pots. We get a few bags of crawfish. We put onions and garlic and mushrooms and sausage in there and boil it, and then put the crawfish, and then we eat outside. And
you just dump it on the table?
Dump it on the table. We kind of got away from that a little bit because it's a little messy. We get a little more sophisticated. We got some big round like trays, and we'll dump it in an ice chest, and then we'll go scoop it out and keep all the juices from going all over the place. We used to use newspaper, but you can't find newspaper anywhere anymore. So we don't do the dumping as a result.
Mud bugs.
The internet has ruined the way we eat crawfish.
What have they done?
They've taken away the newspapers.
They've taken away the newspaper.
Wait a minute. You can't get newspaper in Louisiana because they make them? I don't know.
Oh, we just don't have them around. You have to go search for it. It used to be that, all year long you'd keep your newspapers in a closet. So when crawfish season came around, you had plenty of newspaper to.
Don't you got a Bill's Dollar Store? You can get you some parchment paper.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of work. We got trays. We're sophisticated now.
Okay, trays. This is some highfalutin Louisiana. Sound like eating crawfish. What is that green stuff? I ate crawfish one time with a real Louisianan, and there's stuff in them. Like there's
doo-doo.
I don't know what it was. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. I liked it. It was good, whatever it was. But it's like I was questioning, what is this stuff?
You find that right where the tail comes off the head?
Like right inside the head? Right there.
That's fat.
That's brain.
That's just brain
that's
fat.
brain
That's
fat.
brain because the brain is fat.
Usually it's orange or yellow.
Yeah.
And that's some good stuff.
Green.
So you eating
My-
crawfish brain?
My wife will stick her little pinky finger into the crawfish head
That's a
and dig
real
that
Louisiana
stuff out to make sure she gets it all.
So
this here brain is real good. That's
So
what
do
I'm
they-
saying. Oh, we're getting another phone
they
call.
grow their pinky fingernail out long so that it can stick it underneath the head and scoop that out.
Chad, we get another phone call.
Boy,
yeah.
Chad hadn't had his 10
Go.
minutes.
Go ahead and take it.
All right,
They're rating in.
All right,
All right,
Chad.
thank you, Chad.
All right.
Chad, we'll
Bye-bye.
catch you
No
at
problem.
BGG.
Y'all have fun.
BGG Spring, we'll catch you, Chad. Hello.
Hello, this is the Board Game Snobs podcast. Who are we speaking with today?
You are speaking to Mark from the Board Game Barrage podcast.
How
you guys doing?
Mark? All right, we're doing quite well. We ended
was,
a previous phone call abruptly, unknowing that this is who was calling
We
in.
cut off our favorite Louisianan, I think.
We had a
Oh, there you
caller
go.
from Louisiana that I was insulting with a Louisiana accent. This is what we're talking about this here today.
Yeah, no, I mean, Las Vegas, I think, takes precedence over Louisiana, so I think you made the right choice
The
by cutting them
odds
off.
were in your favor.
There you go. Exactly. How you guys doing? How's this going?
It's going quite well. There at the beginning, we told one listener, he talked for like 10 minutes. We're like, okay, we probably should hang up and wait some more for some more phone calls. And then there was a lull.
That lull really got you there. And then
But so far, it's picked back up, and every time we're getting phone calls as we're taking phone calls.
yes.
And I
Oh,
wish
great.
I wish I knew how to do like a merging of calls, but I have not. I don't know if that's available on Google Voice or not.
This was a great idea, and you should tell Kellen about it, and y'all could steal it and act like it was
What?
yours. Because this was a great
Hey,
idea.
can I ask why, whenever I call or whenever I'm talking to you guys, Jerry brings up Kellen all the time? What is this?
Okay, so one time, it was us and Chad Elkins from 25th Century Games and Gabi. We played a game on Tabletopia or something like that. Tabletop Simulator. And Kellen was on there. And we were talking and
Right.
everything. And after it was over, I have this thing where I
It's a
am,
bond.
yes, I am very judgmental of people. Like literally, I
case-
glance at somebody.
In case you didn't know.
Yes. And so when it was over, Gabi was like, "So what did you think?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What other thing? Like about the game?" He's like, "No. What'd you?" I said, "I can tell you right now. I think I said that Kellen and I were like he was my spirit animal. I can't remember what I said. I said
Well,
like I
here's the-
said,
yeah. You said you're judgmental, and then obviously, like the first thing that jumped to my mind is like, yeah, if you're judgmental, then obviously you're going to feel a bond with Kellen.
it's like Kellen,
That's-
yeah."
Yeah,
But
exactly.
The sad thing is we'd probably hate each other in person, but it was like, but
Right.
deep down, it's like we're exactly the same. We're one and alike.
Right.
But so far, this has been going surprisingly well. We've had a good time. I have had this Google Voice account for quite some time and haven't used it. I just heard it. Oh, you can create a Google Voice. And I was like, I wonder if we could just make that like our call-in number, because I don't want, to give out my personal number.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's been
Yeah, it
very
was just-
fun.
I was going to walk my dog and I grabbed my phone as I was heading out and saw your message on or your note there on the Facebook Board Game Snobs group, which I'm of course a part of, and decided, hey, let me try calling the guys in and see how things are going.
Mark, you're my favorite. You've been my
There you
favorite.
go. That's more like it. See, that's more like it.
See, and you've been my favorite for quite some time. You call in, you text, you tweet, and you say thank you, and
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
I
I love what
appreciate
you guys
that
do.
about you. I appreciate
What
that.
kind of dog? And I will judge you harshly.
Oh well, I'm about to get judged harshly. I've got two Yorkies, so give me your worst. No, I had a giant schnauzer before these two, but now I've got two. Yorkies. All right. Okay. All right.
A Yorkie.
I got two Yorkies. I got a couple of Yorkies.
Two Yorkshire Terriers. Those are
That's
just
right.
a step away from rats. Although they hunt rats.
They're rat killers.
They're rat terriers, I know,
yeah.
but they're just. My wife used to raise Yorkies, and I just
really?
and
Okay.
I right when we got married, and that was like the transition. I was like, I just cannot stand these dogs because they're some of them are quite lovely. They're friendly, and those are wonderful, but the majority of them are the devil. They hate everybody, but except the person for which they have bonded with, and they're just terrors. And people don't.
Terriers.
They are just awful animals, and you don't know why they exist. But yet, if you get on YouTube and you look up Yorkshire Terriers and rats and watch them actually, they utilize them to hunt rats.
Yeah,
you realize that those things are horrors.
Is a Yorkshire Terrier and a Yorkie the same thing?
Yes, Gabby.
Yes.
Is a rat terrier the same as a thing? What are y'all saying?
I think a rat terrier is like a type.
Okay.
But
they're all in the terrier family, but
they dig and they go after rats. And when they see a rat, they lose their mind. It's like bred into them that anything small and hairless, they go after. Like, I would not leave a Yorkshire around Enrique.
I knew you would say that. I knew.
I was
as
wondering
soon
where
as
I was
you
going to go.
looked at me, I already
You
knew.
are rather hairless. And I'm going to point something out. I wasn't going to say this. I wasn't going to say
I'm
this.
quite hairless as well.
I wasn't going to say this. But when I picked Enrique up today to come over to Gabi's home, he had his hair combed in a certain way that bothered me. So he normally coiffs it off to one side, but he had it like combed down like bangs.
Oh yeah, no. It happened naturally.
It was bangs. He had like that. What do you call that? Like Mo.
The Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
Sort of thing?
He had to just comb down like these bangs, and I picked him up, and I didn't want to say, "Look, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop." And I came so close to like reaching over and just whiffing his hair another direction.
Quaffing it.
It was called the quaff.
You want to quaff it in a different
But it
direction.
messed me up. And I just wanted to point that out. I'm glad that later I noticed you like moved your hand and you fixed it.
Like every time I get a haircut, it
I know.
back
I
to
know.
this.
That do that. Show Gabi.
Yeah,
That's all. That's what I saw.
I always appreciate how Enrique just relaxes in his seat. And
That.
it's like
Look at that.
And it's like 3 feet away
Look
from
at
the
that.
microphone.
Right
Okay,
there.
You gotta love it.
Right there. That is a man who has Cheetos underneath his bed.
Yeah. That's Enrique.
Tough for a podcast, I think, to get the story.
No,
conveyed.
but
Yeah,
people
no.
understand. People understand, Mark. Mark, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Enrique since we have him here and he's a rare person to have?
Or the rest of us.
I mean, my question is for the three of you, actually. When are we going to get you to come out to Vegas? I mean, we've got this. We just moved into a larger place, so we've got a bunch of space. I was hoping to see you guys for Dice Tower West, but you've got an open invitation all year. I'd love to have you have you over here. You ever going to come out to Vegas?
Vegas.
God, I literally would love to go to DTW.
What's that?
If you go to, this is a 100% honest, real thing that if you ever go to Vegas, you guys all have a place to stay. No questions asked.
Mark,
you know
Mark, you're warming the cockles of my heart with every word you say.
I'm being honest. I'm being 100% serious. We'd love to have you guys put you up for a couple nights.
Here's what I'm imagining. What should happen? We need to get tickets, fly out there for Dice Tower West, and we just take Enrique and just drop him off, and we go to a hotel and just leave him, like knock on the door, and then we run away. And when you open the door, Enrique has like a sign around his neck that just says, "Please take care of me." Like you find an orphan, like in a bassinet, like Enrique just swaddled up on the floor, and it's like, "Please care for our friend here,
I'll be fine.
Our boy,"
and just have like, and you look in like the little bag we left with him, and it's just like craft singles. And chicken nuggets, frozen Cheetos. It's like, please care.
Some warm Dr. Pepper.
And then just document. Just let Mark. You just got to just film everything that happens from that day onward. And
I'd be happy to give him a good home. I'd be happy.
There you go,
Mark. You're a good man.
You're a good man.
You've repeatedly proved yourself a good man in my book. Here's my thing. So even like Kellen remarked on me and Dan's podcast. He's like, "I want my money back," and I was like, "Kellen, we try to get you on our show," and Kellen he ghosts me every time. He gives me hope, and then he ghosts me every time. Mark,
that's his thing. Yeah,
Mark, steady as the rain, good as
that's
gold.
Right.
Mark, you are
I'm the
my
foundation.
man. You are
Saint Mark.
Saint Mark.
There's Saint Klaus, and then there's Saint Mark of the Vegas.
It's who I was named after. So that's appropriate.
Very nice.
Yeah, we did a.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I don't want to keep you when you've got all the your fans on the line.
That's coming
We're
in.
getting a phone call right now, Mark.
See, there you go.
We must go.
I knew it.
All right, Mark. We'll talk
Mark,
at you later.
thank you for calling.
Have a great time. Take care, guys.
I love you, Mark.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tolerating this episode of the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.